All right, everyone. Welcome to the Behind the Build series that we are running at Happy Operators Community, AI and the rest. Um, One question I've been posed and also thinking about recently is what is an agent harness, which
Mhm.
I think is going to be a hot topic now, but also going forward. And community member Kinan Hamwi, amongst other useful things, has also got a new product, but also understands the technology really well called Cerevisor. No, I said it wrong. Anyway, whatever.
That's okay.
And so today's session is going to be led by Kinan. I'm just going to be hanging around, hopefully asking some questions or fielding some questions as well in the chat. So if everyone has questions, ping it in the chat. If it's relevant, I'll give Kinan a nod, or you just look at the chat anyway. But sometimes it's quite hard to see the chat. And then if not, we'll do questions at the end. So, Massa, please take it away. And then, sorry, Kinan, you need to change your name
Mhm. I
on.
have to. Mm.
um, please take it away. Introduce yourself and what you're here for, and then we'll go from there. So, thank you very much for sharing your time.
Well, thank you, Matt. Um, so thanks everyone for waiting and for your patience again. My name is Kinan, and I work full-time as an AI transformation director at an American global enterprise, a manufacturer of wireless equipment, um, and leading the AI adoption in our company, Cambium Networks. On the side, over the weekends in 2026, I have been building my own harness called Cerevisor from Cerebrum and Visor. And when I spoke about this with Matt, he thankfully proposed for us to have this session, at least to talk about what a harness is, and then to give you a brief intro of what Cerevisor is and how it can help you when ready. Now,
Sorry, I'm just going
yes,
to
go
comment
ahead.
in. I don't know if it's just because I don't think it is shown as big on the screen. Are you using the share settings that I was doing? You're like
Mm,
to the bottom right.
is it the presenter layout or I'm just going
Yeah, I
to
think
try
it's
to share
presenter
only the
layout. Just maybe
content.
just go back to normal because I think it'd be better for when we do
If
the when
does
I
it
do the
look better
recording.
now?
Mm, is that normal for everyone? I've kind of lost track of. Is that look the most normal you've seen a Zoom meeting?
I think it looks good. It's not full screen, but it's kind of like in the middle,
It's in
and
the
there's
middle,
like
right?
a small view options where you can
Okay.
either choose fit to window 50%, 100%, 150, 200, 300. So you can like edit depending
All right, let's
on
just
how you
stick.
want to
Let's
see it.
let's stick as is. It's all right. It's good. It's fine.
So everyone can edit their
Yeah.
viewing options.
All right. Cool. Right. Good stuff. Carry on,
Okay,
Keaton.
well,
Apologies.
what I will do is I'm gonna share the entire screen, and it would be the normal share.
I'll cut this out of the edit. Don't worry.
Uh, all right, sounds good. So let's see here. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
All good. Okay. All right. Um, so since this is the AI community in Barcelona, then all of us are familiar with what an AI model is. And an AI model is basically a chat, a text autocomplete based on the on some probabilities that are dependent on its training, but it cannot do anything. It, a user can ask it some questions and then it would respond to the best of its knowledge on what is the potential response for this. But then a model becomes uh, useful when it's equipped with a harness. So the harness is basically the system that sits on top of the model. Think about the model as a very talented chef that has no tools, no knives, no kitchen to operate in. It's a very talented chef. You can ask it for some good recipes, and that chef would respond to you with the good recipes. but that chef would not be able to cook without the kitchen. So the harness is what is equipping those models with tools so they would be able to do actions on your computer. The harness can starts by tracking what is going on, the state of each agent. Here, this shows you what all of the things that the harness tracks and makes sure that the model is aware of. So I'm gonna make this a big screen. So it starts with the context that is needed for the user, the memory from previous interactions. Tools are really important. This is what gives this is what gave the current AI models the ability to operate on your computer. The moment that there was that bash tool in Claude Code, that was the transformation moment where everyone got excited, and now almost all of us are working with harnesses. If you're still asking yourself what a harness is, and you're using Claude Code, then you are already using a harness without knowing. So Claude Code is a harness, Codex is a harness, Cursor is a harness, Antigravity is a harness from Gemini. The OpenClaw and all of this familiar, its family kind of, they call it agents. Those are also harnesses. So the task state is one of the most important things that the harness tracks. So while the harness has the context, memory, tools, it builds the sandbox for each agent and tracks files, and then it keeps track of what is happening. So let's say that the agent read this file. Then the harness keeps track that, okay, this agent read this file, and then it feeds it back to the agent so that the agent would have a kind of linearity in its actions. So it would go from step 1 to step 2, step 3, step 4. And of course, you define like the harness defines the permissions. That's why we use like either auto mode or bypass permissions on Codex and Claude. It also enables the human to approve or not. Should provide observability. Not all harnesses provide observability. And the evaluation is usually by design, but I will show you now how it's done in Cerevisor. And then, of course, recovery, which is when a failure happens, when you're launching a workflow and then it fails. How does the harness handle failures? And then finally, the governance. So how would those are the high level rules that we would set on the harness so that it would never break. So as I've mentioned, like a harness is kind of like an engine. Like it's an engine on its own. You cannot run with an engine. You need a car around the engine to take form. And the way I would describe those harnesses as they are the digital bodies of our AI models that are coming out. And here are the levels of complexity. So hopefully this would make it a bit easier to understand. We started with basic chatbots. We were talking about hallucinations and inconsistency. And then the RAG was the discussion because we figured that, okay, AI models are really good at, well, kind of good at retrieving some text. But then if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So this is another risk that needs to be controlled for. And then we got the tool use. That's where we started seeing deep researches and the rise of MCPs and the AI models calling APIs. And then now we're in the late 2025 to early 2026 phase. That's an agent with workflows, completing multi-step tasks. if you're not aware, we were able to launch sub agents all the way back in January with Claude Code, at least for the general public. I'm not talking about the ones that got access to Claude Code early in 2025. But then with every introduction of complexity, we are adding more and more risks for our workflows or our work to be damaged. So here with agents, like you could have some silent failures, or maybe some agents running in the background and not really finishing their work. And then when we have those harnesses, we had now, this is today, we have to deal with how do we pass on context from one agent to another, and how do we maintain the entire user context. And that's the problem that is now being looked at, and with multiple attempts to solve it. I don't think it has been fully solved yet, on how we would maintain really good context about the user, about the harness, and maintain context across multiple sessions. And finally, the enterprise operating layer. This is nice to see, but it hasn't been executed well so far. The Claude tag is actually one of the things that would operate here in this space. This is basically for a company in order to share context across multiple employees that are running agents, and this is the future. So if anyone is working on building company brain, let's talk. This is a very exciting thing. I've added here also the multiple modes of failure. And then here's the same maturity ladder represented visually. I wanted this to be very clear for everyone, so you would understand that a harness is not really something magical. It's just some code with tools that are put on top of text generators in order to do some stuff on your computer. So this is the end of my introduction for harnesses. Let's have some questions about harnesses in general, and then I would jump to Cerevisor. Any questions?
I have one.
Go ahead.
Well, it was about what you said. I didn't catch it fully about the Claude tag.
Oh yeah.
Just, well, not necessarily that, but just like what your point being around like cloud, like a harness, but in the cloud. Like what was your point about that, and why it's very interesting?
It is a Claude tag, the latest features from Claude, where you could tag Claude in a Slack chat, and then Claude would pay attention to what is happening and then respond according to the context that it gathered from the entire company, and that would be a shared chat within between employees, and that is Anthropic's attempt to build an enterprise harness. I don't know if it is the best approach. To be honest, we're not doing it in our company. Not going to be planning to do so. But if someone has started using it, it was just out like 3-4 days ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've just got a team account finally. So I want to start using it purely just for exploration reasons, and obviously I use OpenClaw and Hermes as exploring anyway. And so I get the it was just like the harness bit is the harness can run on the cloud or it can run on your local machine. It like the harness is just the layer as you described. Am I understanding it correctly?
You are, and it can run on the cloud. It can run on your machine. Well, actually, most of them are like the latest harnesses are the ones that would operate on your machine. You would have to download a desktop application in order to provide, in order to run those pieces of code on your computer. the cloud-based harnesses are operating on the cloud, so they're only able to interact with files on the cloud. They could save some files on your computer.
Yeah, okay.
But that's a good question, Matt. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna start by opening Cerevisor. So after seeing that this is what's happening today, I decided to build my own tool. Is there any way to remove this top bar from?
I can see untitled workflow in the top bar. That's as far as we can see.
Yeah, but I cannot see it because I have the zoom thing.
No, Zoom's.
Oh yeah, now it's there. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you first an experiment that I've done today. Okay. So this is how Cerevisor looks like. This is, I can imagine that this is different for anyone that has been using Claude or Codex. Some people say that it is similar to NA10. Yeah, there's some similarity there. For me, I see it more similar to StarCraft, because I used to love playing strategy games back in the days. And each one of those is an AI agent with some inputs and outputs, and a selected model, and some assigned skills. So I've built those 4 workflows just 1 hour before the session today. I wanted to build out the content for the session, so I thought, okay, I would do an experiment that I would build a workflow that takes the input from a folder and then turns it into an interactive experience. And I ran the same prompt first with Google's Antigravity using my Gemini subscription. This one is running with Claude, so Claude through subscription. And this one was running through, ChatGPT 5.4 through API. And the last one is with 5.5 through API. I still didn't build the Codex one, but I'll show you how that works now. So for you to understand, here on the right-hand side, we have all the skills that are downloaded, and you can easily assign a skill to an agent or remove it. If I want to change the model for an agent, I could just pick it from here, and then this agent would run on, in this case, the Gemini 3.5 Flash through my Gemini subscription. And you can also edit which model goes here. So to show you the results, Antigravity was actually quite okay. Recently I started experimenting with Antigravity to see how well it performs. And this is the same kind of content that I just went through in the browser, which is nice to see, to be honest, from Google. It's not bad. But I chose the other results because I was more happy with them. Now I made the harness so it would be really easy to use. Sorry about the flash, but here to show you that there is also the light mode in case you don't like dark mode. So I made it to be really easy to use. And as you see, like everything is drag and drop. And then I ran it through Antigravity, Claude, 5.4 mini, and then 5.5. Unfortunately, Claude didn't work. It worked well to build the workflow, but it didn't work well while running it. So here, for example, I know that that this workflow got to this stage. So all of those files, those .md files, are actually have been generated by the previous agents. So here I changed this model to Codex via ChatGPT, and I'm just going to run this agent alone. And here it is. So now it's running. And while those agents run, I've made sure that each agent has a kind of a mini terminal underneath them that shows what is happening from their thoughts and their actions. What are the tools that they are calling? So as we progress, we will see this agent doing things, hopefully building the interactive experience that we would like to build. And then let's create a new workflow. So here, let's say harness 5.4 mini again. The reason that I use 5.4 mini is because it's a bit fast to operate. And this would give you a glimpse of what kind of complexity that I've introduced to this harness. So what you're looking at is the settings. You can adjust permissions, what kind of initial input, that how would you like the chat builder to run on which model. And here I'm going to select the 5.4 mini. And this is where you would add what kind of intelligence that you would like to have access to. So you can either add through an API or add through subscriptions. And here I've included Cloud Code, Codex, Cursor, and Antigravity as the harnesses that you could manage through Cerevisor. And here all of the API based models that you could add. I've also the first thing that I've done was actually introducing support for local models, because that was the first test that I did, was with a Gemma 4 Google local model, and it worked. I still have to test again. So what you're looking at is not really the finished product. I'm still working on building this and making sure that it's ready for professional action. Just till last week, I was able to do some interesting stuff with it, some professional stuff, including some competitive analysis. And as you can see, it's built the content for this session, which is not something difficult, but it's a start. And of course, here you can also add some hooks that are based on some things that happen inside each run. So these could be useful at some point. The system is also self-learning, so it can also build its own skills. So whenever an agent fails twice, then the system starts building a new skill that would hopefully overcome that failure. Comes with MCP support, web search. Oh, I think this is something that the community would appreciate, because I was a bit frustrated with having to manage multiple .env files, and with every workflow I have to manage those secrets. So I built an internal vault within Cerevisor, and if I would like to assign a vault secret to an agent, I just click on this and I add the secret, and that's it. Yeah. Anyway, let's get working. I wanted to share something. No, here we go. That's it. Let's see. let's say if anyone has a topic, please feel free to paste it in text. If you manage to paste it before I finish my prompt, I'll use your topic instead. So I'm gonna tell it to build and yeah.
I'm sorry, Kinan. Actually, Kat did ask. I would love this for my content pipeline.
Oh,
How easy or hard is it to build? Or is she? I mean, I don't think Kat realizes that you did build it yourself. But let's think about the content pipeline use case. Whilst Kat has brought it up, could we start there?
yes, of course. I think this is how it starts, like researching a topic and producing an article or slides, at least at the beginning, and then you can adjust it later. So here it tries to understand what your intent is. Ooh. Okay, I've exceeded my API quota for. Here we go. Let's change to Gemini. Oh, by the way, the Gemini 3.5 Flash has been really good at this. So let's go ahead.
Google's coming back. Google's fighting back slowly.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, so as you can see, it detects an intent, and I'm just going to tell it to build from this intent.
What are the in the menu on the left, you've got IPB, HTC. Are they like acronyms for the project names or something? What is that?
Yeah, like interactive presentation builder, the harness talk, Claude. And you can also like pause or play those workflows as you see fit. And if you get if one workflow errors, then this one turns into red. If you get some kind of an agent asking you for input, then you also get notified here. So, Kat, if you would like to include the topic, that would be great. But here I'm going to put a brand new topic. Let's have it build a PowerPoint slide. So it's asking for the topic.
Yeah, if Kat doesn't, I'll give one. Either Kat? All right. An obvious. Oh, here we go. Oh, she's in a quiet space. Okay, you can type it. If you have a topic. Otherwise, I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and then I will give the topic. Take care, Lewis.
AI for real estate.
AI for real estate. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, target audience. We decide.
Rich boomers.
We can adjust it also. Like here, if you click on the input button, it's by default it's activated. So whenever you run a workflow, then it's going to ask you for input, but you could deactivate it and then it would run automatically. So this guy is building. Here we go. It created 2 agents. And it auto-assigned. By the way, in this section, it automatically builds the .md files and saves them on your computer, so they would be ready for you to run. And to answer your question, Kat, it runs locally. The only cloud connection is through the models API. Now it's telling me that it built everything, but the workflow is still incomplete. I'm just going to tell it to finish the build so it can finish whatever it can do now. You can download this version of the software already from the website. I have the free version ready for you guys to play. And whenever I'm going to be releasing the paid version, I'm going to include a good price for the community. It is not open source, but you can download it for free from the website today.
Who do you think your customer, like your ICP, will be? Or
I
is?
think I would start with fellow builders or people who are tinkerers, people who like to make sure that whatever work they're doing is piling up and and basically whatever step is building a foundation for them to keep going forward. That's the kind of person that I would think would use this because I'm building this for myself, and for me it's just a pain to launch a workflow every single time using a Claude chat, and then whenever I wanna adjust it, I would have to uh, do a lot of tweaks. Can you try saying something?
Uh,
It seems that I've lost audio.
can you not hear me anymore?
Second.
I'm speaking. I'm speaking on the mic.
Here we go.
Hello, hello.
Now I can hear you, but through the speaker. Okay. All right. So we have built a workflow. The first thing that I would look at is the kind of agents that have been created and the kind of skills that were added. So research and research orchestrator, that's great. This one was an invalid skill, so I just removed it. Yeah. And here, so this is something that I haven't shown the team yet, and I see that we have only 4 minutes. So here it
Okay,
added,
we can go on a bit more, don't worry. From my side, anyway.
sure. So what happened is that it added a skill here called PPTX, and it has a two here. If I hover on top of it, it says works on Claude and Claude Code. So meaning that this skill is not universal to all models. So I would just remove it and see if Gemini would be able to create this on its own.
Did it create that skill on demand, or it was an existing skill that at some point you've created?
It was an existing skill, and while this is running, let me show you here the skill workshop. So I've also included a skill workshop. So it would show me all the skills that I have, and then which skill would work with which model.
Is
And
that
then
because Gemini doesn't support skills, or like is there something odd? Like what is that about? Do you know?
why would this work only with Claude or Claude Code? Uh,
Or yeah, or OpenAI, yeah.
so there are uh, some skills behave differently. I don't know. I've tried like creating a PowerPoint template skill that worked apparently really well with Claude, but it really didn't work well with Codex. I had to rebuild the entire skill from scratch for Codex to work. So that's when I realized that okay, there are some skills that would only work on some models but do not work on others. And the main those skills that work on models and do not work on others, mainly they have more files on your computer. So there, in my mind, there are two types of skills. There is the cloud-based skills, the ones that would operate on all models, and there are the code-based skills, the local skills. And the local skills are much more powerful than the cloud-based skills. So that's why for me skills are a really important topic. I've even included a skill generator here within Cerevisor in order to experiment with those.
Yeah, when I've very lightly tried to run um, Codex and Claude Code on the same project, and you want to share the
Mhm.
same skill, it's like a pain in the ass. And I'm like, there should be a pro. You'd assume that they'll come to some protocol position. I don't know where like you shouldn't have to install them in different places. I don't know. I just felt like there was it was a bit messy when you're trying to use different models on the same skill. Well, obviously, you've discovered one problem where they just don't work at all.
Yeah, that's why I've included a kind of an automatic check within Cerevisor that would show which skill works with what exactly. Okay, now let's move on and run this workflow while we check another thing. So now it's using the default model provider, which is Gemini, because I switched from ChatGPT. It should start working. Oh, I noticed that Gemini through anti-gravity also takes a long time to start. I don't know why, but it's something that I'm also working on.
How do you use this every day? Is it as your primary driver, or are you still trying to work out that?
It's as of 5 days ago, it's taking a big chunk of my daily use. So let's say that my Claude usage is consumed 50% by Cerevisor and 50% by Claude.
And how does that split work?
Here I would build the workflows that I want to rely on in the future. Like it was a lot of fun on Thursday last week when I was building something that took like 6 different waves. And then after the 6th wave, I was like, oh, maybe we can add one more agent here that would do this kind of thing. And then I would just only add that agent and run that agent with the outcome of all of the previous agents. So whenever you want to do something that lasts for long, that you would reuse, then I would use Cerevisor. But for now, I'm using Claude to develop Cerevisor. And I think that maybe in 1 or 2 weeks, I would be switching to Cerevisor to develop Cerevisor.
Yeah, that's when you're in the vortex.
And this is where the cool thing happens. So let me show you how the loop looks like, actually. Second. So here, this guy. Oh, so recently I've included loop versioning. So this is how you turn a workflow into a loop. Keep in mind that this workflow is already running while we are talking. The first one is research the topic. Second one is writing the blog post. And then here we can talk about our loop. When you run a loop in Cerevisor, Cerevisor would show you all of the outputs from every iteration. So you wouldn't only get the final output that you get from Claude or from the others, but I've designed the looping in Cerevisor so it would have versioning. And now I'm working on versioning across all of the workflows because I thought that, okay, this is something that would be needed. Because sometimes I change something in an agent and then I'm like, no, I didn't like the change, so I would like to go back to a previous version. So this is happening. And while this is running, here's another cool part, which is the harness memory. So a harness is not a harness without a memory. I've designed it so it would gather some information about the user, about itself. This is the harness memory, and this is not injected into each agent's information. This is saved into a local database, and it's just here added for visibility. What is reflected into an agent is this one. This is the self, well, it's called a self-portrait. Because when I asked it to add a memory for the harness, it saved the MD file as self.md, which is insane. And then it saved this reflection memory as a self-portrait. And this one looks at the changes, at the deltas in all of the in all of the changes in the harness from one time to another. And then there are some learnings on the user behavior, some proposals, which I could reconsolidate. So whenever you use the system, it has some proposals. You could always consolidate them, and then it would chunk them into 5 proposals. I don't like going through a big list. So here it's giving me some proposals. And all of this is saved on your computer. It means that you can always export everything as JSON here. So you have full ownership of your memory. Nothing goes to Cerevisor or to any cloud portal. And finally, guys, nothing matters without having the numbers to back it up. So here's the analytics section that shows you all the run history, chat builder, which is the best model for chat building, which is the best model for running. As you can see, somehow Gemini 3.5 Flash has been really good. And the system log, of course.
I have a question.
Okay. Go ahead, Matt.
So if you use the Claude subscription as the API, let's call it, I don't know, the LLM.
Yes.
Does the Claude subscription out the box mean that you'll be using Claude memory as well? Or in this instance, memory is like a thing that you would request to be done on Claude versus because you've got your own memory here, just to help my understanding.
So I'm not entirely sure how Anthropic deals with their agent SDK memory, because when you connect your Claude subscription, you're connecting through the agent SDK. So if Anthropic are saving whatever they're gaining from the agent SDK, then you would have 2 sets of memory. You would have one that is saved with Claude, which only sees what Claude has achieved. So for example, if I run Claude on this agent, but I don't run it on the rest of the agents, then Claude would be only saving that into your memory. While Cerevisor would have the entire view of what you're doing across all of the models.
Understood.
Yeah. So the AI for real estate content has been done. This outcome, sorry, here's the output. Here we have the files, 3.md files, like the editorial review. Well, it takes time to load. Second. Well, this is the PowerPoint presentation that it generated. And of course, I wouldn't be satisfied with the first approach. Like, for example, here, I'm going to read the research brief. Hopefully it comes out. I don't know, but something is wrong with my RAM today, and my computer is running really slow. But so what I could do is I could always ask the chat builder to, let's say, if I don't like the research, then add 3 more research agents so I can get comprehensive results. Okay, in the meantime, I'm gonna check if we have some questions because okay, I see a question from Afonso. Are you planning to have this online in the future or just installed software? Look, I built Cerevisor so that we have control over our data and so that we would have full ownership. The moment that I see this kind of full ownership achieved through an online version of Cerevisor, then yes, I would move it there. But for now, it's a product that you would download on your computer.
The ultimate ownership would be to then be running local models on your machine that would be connected to this app, maybe.
Absolutely, and that's why I built it. And like the next step is for me is testing GLM 5.2 through a cloud subscription, and to see if I could run all of my work through GLM, and then I would be just happily not dependent on any of the cloud providers.
Yeah, then we just need to get the happy operator servers set up, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I'm happily delay that problem for the moment. All right, cool. Is any final questions, and then we'll close this out. I found that super useful, and it's a pretty crazy build. How long have you been building it?
So I've released the open source version of the canvas in February. That took me 2 months to build, and then since February to today, I've been perfecting the harness, turning the canvas into an action. But remember that this is built only over weekends or whenever I have some free time in the week. So if full time dedicated towards Cerevisor, I think it would have taken 2 months or 3 months.
Well, I think we could do a session of like what it means to try and build this inside your set. You're using Claude Code, right? So how do you manage the repo? How do you make sure it stays on track if you leave it running? That would also be an interesting session. Not one for today, but
Sure.
I think we have a good opportunity here where there's builders inside the community. One is the products that they're building, but seeing how they manage their own build, I think is important because I'm sure everyone's got their own ways of doing it, their own skills, their own workflows. So maybe we'll have another chat about that another time.
Yeah, happy to do so.
Awesome. All right. Well, everyone, take care. If I see you later on at the Netlify Hack Night at 5:30, wow, an hour and a half away. I better get going.
Yeah, see you guys there.
Yeah. If not, see you on WhatsApp or wherever else. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.
So, vibey vibes. See you, Nico.